kind of fairway cut of grass.
And about halfway to it, it should fall to the right.
James Hahn's second, par 3 17th, sixth sudden death playoff hole.
And there's your right. Man, that was really slow coming out of there. As Billy mentioned, maybe a little bit more in the green coming down off that fringe or short. Patton's got a pretty good idea what this putt does now. He knows the speed, knows the break. We learned a little bit from that.
Definitely an opening for Patton Kizzire's just off the green. Kizzire is 22 feet. What's the mindset here, given where James Hahn has about 6 feet or 7 feet for par?
Again, I mean, he's in a position that, you know, if I can just lag it down there, force the issue. I think Hahn has a tough putt. I think we've seen the putt and missed enough on the right-hand side, and like I said, Hoagie's the only one that's missed it left. I think it's a tough putt to read, and I think Patton he just kind of limps it down there. I thought he might limp it down there a little bit closer than that.
Yeah, James' putt's almost an identical line as Tom Hoagie had in regulation, where most of those putts we'd seen had fallen off to the right, but Tom had started his ball about a ball out left. I don't know so much he pulled it or he thought it was going to go more right than it did, but it stayed out there. So as you said, this has been a tough read.
These guys have been like two heavyweights duking it out. We're on round number 6. Hahn trying to throw another punch here. He has 8 feet for par. You got to assume that where Patton Kizzire is, likely a par. So this, for all intents and purposes, a must-make for James Hahn to possibly see a 7th sudden death playoff hole.
And you'll see him, I mean, he'll break this down in different sections, and as Jimmy said earlier, he'll try to hit different spots along that line. And
3 of 7 from this distance, from 7 to 10 feet, so.
We've talked about it all week, Jim. Waialae is one of the toughest courses on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, 4 to 8 feet. It's 65% of the field, or it was made 65% of the time by the field last year, and this year, maybe a little bit better, but you think from 4 to 8, these guys make a lot more, higher percentages.
Especially with the pureness of the greens.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're Bermuda and they've got green, the pureness of the greens are exceptional.
69% this year, so a little bit better, but still.
It was 6 last year in difficulty.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch Hahn as he goes about his business. That
taking a lot more time.
The magnitude of the putt creates a lot more time in his routine.
More than it has in the past. Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, just watching him. When he was going through regulation, everything was flowing pretty quickly. Now we've gotten to the playoff and the critical putts. He's taking a lot of time.
6th sudden death playoff hole. James Hahn for par.
Got this lined up at the left edge.
Wow. Only Tom Hoagie has missed that putt on the left.
Just lips out. So James Hahn in with bogey. Patton Kizzire has this left for par and to win the Sony Open. Similar to the putt he had at the OHL Classic at Mayakoba. Had to make par on the last to beat Ricky Fowler to get his first win on the PGA Tour. Kizzire now trying to become the first multiple-time winner this season on the PGA Tour. A Herculean effort, the 6th sudden death playoff hole. Kizzire for par and the win. How about that? Patton Kizzire on the 6th sudden death playoff hole wins the Sony Open, grabbing his 2nd win this season on the PGA Tour. James Hahn ends up in 2nd as you see the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Patton Kizzire now in the top spot thanks to his 2nd win this season. knocking back Pat Perez, who now falls into second, followed by world number 1, Dustin Johnson. The final results from the island of Oahu. Patton Kizzire beats James Hahn on the 6th hole of the sudden death playoff. Tom Hoagie, solo 3rd. Coming up next, you're going to hear from both Patton Kizzire and James Hahn as Golf Central brings you news, highlights, and analysis from the world of golf. Next week, the PGA Tour moves back to the mainland. Coverage of the Career Builder Challenge begins Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. We're going to have all the highlights, and you're going to hear from the winner, Patton Kizzire, next on Golf Central.